Hey, Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Now recently I had some younger viewers ask if I could make any projects that didn't involve redoing furniture or working on the house or something like that. So I thought about it and I thought it'd be really cool to make some farting slime. So let's get to it, it's really easy. Alright, so here's what you need to make your slime. I'm using an old tried and true recipe that involves some borax. This is it's a detergent booster. You can find this with the other detergents at the store with all the boxes. And this works great, but if you can't find borax, you could also try using boxed powdered Tide detergent. That may work as well. Now you also need some water, so I have a couple of different glasses here just to make sure I have enough. And then you also want some regular school glue. Alright, now you want to make sure it's not washable, it's just the plain glue. Alright, and you're going to want some food coloring if you want to add some color to it. And then everything else is just, to mix it and all that. Of course, it's going to be kind of messy, so you're going to want some paper towels. And if you don't want your hands to get food dye on them, food coloring on them, you could wear a glove, you could stir with some spoons or things like that. And then you're going to need a couple of old containers to be able to mix it in, and then you could throw them away or recycle them when you're done. Or maybe even like an old mixing bowl or something like that. And you also need a container that has a lid that can be sealed on there so that you can do some shaking. Alright? And then the last thing I have is a couple of containers to store it when we're done, and I'll show you those later. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do is take your container that has the lid, and you want to put some borax in there. And I'm just going to fill the bottom of this. Alright, it's about the equivalent of a few tablespoons. Oops, making a mess here. Something like that is probably plenty. Alright, and like I said, if you can't find borax, you can try Tide powder detergent. That may work for you. Alright, then we're just going to take some regular water. I have some in this goldfish cup here. And we're just going to kind of play around with the amount of water for now. I'll fill the container about halfway. Alright, now I'm going to put on the lid. I'm going to shake it really good. And what we want is for the water to be completely saturated with this borax so that there's still some powder left. That means that there's so much in there that the borax can't dissolve anymore. And I don't know if you can see here, but I still have a little bit left down here at the bottom. So that's the perfect amount. Alright, so we're done with that, and now we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, this next step could get a little messy, so this is a good time to put on your glove and to make sure you have paper towels on hand. Alright, so what we're going to do is going to pour glue into our container and we're going to mix it with water. Now, I want to make two different colors of slime to kind of look like a cartoon fart, a little bit of green, a little bit of brown. So I'm going to pour most of my glue in the big container here, and then I'm going to pour a little bit in the smaller container. Alright, so now that I've poured all the glue in the two containers, I'm just going to fill this back up with water. And the glue was up to the shoulder right here, so I'm going to put that much water in here. And I'm using this measuring cup because it has a nice edge on it to pour, a little pour spout on there. I'm going to fill it up, and then, and then I'm going to divide this glue between the two with the same amounts I used earlier. Alright, now that that's in, you can either use your hand or you can use a spoon, and you just want to mix it until it's mixed really, really well. Alright, now once it has been mixed really well, you want to add your coloring. Okay, so in my big container, I want it to be green slime. So I'm going to add quite a bit of the food coloring in here just to make sure that it's a nice, rich color. Since the glue's white that I'm using, it might, slightly lighten the color. Alright, so I'm going to put a lot of green in that one, and then you just want to mix it thoroughly. Alright, now that my green is mixed, I want to make my brown, so I'm just going to use the recipe that's on the back of the food coloring, and basically it's all four colors, mostly red and yellow with a little bit of green and blue, so I'll pre-mix it and show you what it looks like all finished. Alright, so my two colors are mixed really nicely, and I just dropped my spoon in there. Alright, I think they're going to look really good, so now it's time to add in the borax water, and this is when the slime happens. And also, as you can see, it's going to be messy, and that's why it's a good idea to have a glove if you want. Alright, so we're going to take this borax water. Make sure there's still powder in there, which there is, and I'm dripping it. All right, and when we pour it in there, we don't want the powder in there, we just want the water part, okay? So you're just gonna pour a little bit in there, just kind of test it out, and it's gonna immediately start turning into slime, okay? Check this out, it's already turning into slime. And you just wanna mix it until it feels like a really good consistency and it's almost like dough, so it's not too slimy, it's not too dry. You may have to play around with it a little bit and just keep adding just a little bit of water until it's just right. And I'll show you what it looks like all mixed up. I'll go ahead and mix the brown one as well. All right, now after you mix it for a while, you're gonna get to a point where the spoon isn't really helping, all right? And it's just gonna be more of a solid that just slightly droops like that. This one's just about perfect. That's also when you probably wanna get in with your hand and just mix it really well. And of course, this is gonna be messy, so like I said, the glove is really handy if you don't want dye all over your fingers, all right? So I think the green is good to go. I'm gonna play around with the brown just a little bit more. It's not quite ready, all right? Just gonna let it mix. If it feels a little sticky, you can add just a little bit more borax water and let it mix in. And then if you let this set for a little bit, it'll be perfect, all right? If you immediately start playing with it, you might get dye on your hands, but if you let it sit a little while, it'll be just about right. It should feel, I mean, exactly like you'd imagine gack or slime or something like that would feel like. It's not too slimy, it's not too wet, not too dry. You should be able to kind of pull it apart and it'll tear a little bit. That's just about right. So now what we can do is we'll store it and then I'll show you how to make it fart. All right, so I let my slime sit for a few minutes and it's ready to play with, but I went ahead and stored it away. So I put my green in a Ziploc bag and made sure it's nice and sealed and it'll stay for a while. And my brown I put in one of these plastic containers that has a nice airtight lid. So either way will work well and it should last for a long time. All right, now if you want to make fart sounds, what I recommend using is a baby food jar. And the cool thing about this is that it has a rubber seal on the lid so that when you tighten it, it'll stay airtight. So you don't even have to use a bag or a little plastic container like this. The other cool thing is that if you push the slime in there, it'll push out air pockets and make really cool fart sounds. Now I just put some green slime in there and then a little bit of brown. I kind of swirled it so it looks like a cartoon fart. And when you push your fingers in there, it's gonna make really cool fart sounds. So just like that. This is a really cool slime recipe, very easy to make. You can store it and it'll last for a long time. And then if you use a baby food jar like this, it'll make really awesome fart sounds.